What is up, guys? WonderBro here. My hair is a mess as usual. Anyway, today we are going to talk about how the worry of panic is always worse than the actual panic. So let's say you've been dealing with anxiety and panic for a while and you have an upcoming social event, just for an example, and you worry about how bad your panic might be. If you start to panic in this event, you worry about how awful this panic is gonna be, and that really scares you and freaks you out, and you can see it, and you can see it in your head. You can see yourself running around, acting crazy, having a heart attack, whatever your fear is, and the worry is just picking you apart. Why is it that worry in your head, that anticipation, is always going to be worse than if you actually did go to this event and start to panic? Let me explain. It's pretty simple. A panic attack cannot go on forever. It is impossible. It cannot make you go crazy. Impossible. Trust me, I worried about that for a long time. That was probably my biggest anxiety-related fear, was going crazy. Never happened, no matter how bad it got. Anxiety cannot give you a heart attack. Never happened. You'd be the first person in human history to ever have a heart attack or go crazy from anxiety. So that is why the worry is always going to be so much worse, because in your head you see yourself going crazy. You see yourself dying of a heart attack, even if you don't see those things, and you just see yourself having a horrible panic attack. When you're in the actual moment and you're at this event and you're having the panic attack, okay, with acceptance, hopefully you're using acceptance at this point. But when you're actually having the panic attack, when you're actually at the event, you realize that you don't lose control. You realize that, yeah, you had some panic. Maybe it was a little difficult to deal with, but you didn't fall down on the floor. You didn't run around in circles, chewing your own arm off. You didn't have a heart attack, blah, blah, blah. So that is why your imagination, aka worry, is always going to be 10 times worse than if you actually went out to whatever you're worried about and started to panic. Because no matter what, that panic passes. No matter what. I don't care what the circumstance is. I don't care how bad of the circumstance it is. Even if you're stuck under an avalanche for 7 days, and we've made that example before, but I love that one. Even if you're stuck under an avalanche for 7 days, you're not going to panic the whole time. It's just not possible. So the panic comes, and the panic passes, and you move on, and it might leave you, a bit shook up, but you survived. And that is why the imagination, the worry, is always going to be worse than if you actually had the panic. Okay? And I know how scary they can be. Okay? Because that's their job, right? Is to give you fear, to give you that emotion of fear to save your life and to get you moving. So I know how scary they can be. But my point remains the same. Your imagination is always going to be worse than if the panic just actually happened. Okay? For example, there's been tons of stuff I've worried about in my life. Oh, what if I was put in this situation or this situation and panic came? Oh, and then I would just come up with all kinds of different scenarios. And then I actually was put in that situation and panic did come. And none of that happened. None of that happened, and at the end of the day, even though it did suck to have a panic attack, I was still fine, and the weeks leading up to this so-called event was worse, in my head than the actual happening. So you need to remember that, guys. Don't pay no mind to all that worry and your imagination, pulling up all these big scenarios in your head. They never happen. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Make sure you give it a like. It lets me know that you're grateful. Gratitude will get you a long way. Subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, stay awesome.